crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, road.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee, and my camera's not working. Let's talk silver. Obviously, we are in the delivery month. Things are going swimmingly. Those expecting massive deliveries need to remember what I was talking about last week. The massive deliveries were there, but the metal wasn't there. So the big shorts had to close out at gigantic losses. They had to close out a hell of a lot of contracts on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week. So we're going to see those losses in October. These big banks are going to be pulling out of the silver market. I do believe we're going to see charges brought against JP Morgan traders, not JP Morgan. Well, the charges have already been brought against them. We're going to see a settlement. My guess, the total will be over $500 million, which is nothing compared to what they stole, but still, it is symbolic. And what I'm looking for is language in that settlement that says they no longer can trade in the silver market and gold markets. That would be epic. Again, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right now, silver's holding strong, 28 bucks, almost hit 29 before the latest slam down. There's still shorts out there. The game now is in the December contract. The December contract. As we see right here. Now, I haven't added it up yet, but I'm going to go through all of August to find out the total volumes of silver traded on the COMEX, which is complete fraud. There are no day traders in COMEX futures and options. There are no day traders. There's just riggers. 99.9% of these trades are nothing but rigging jobs by the big banks, trading back and forth, spoofing, doing whatever game they can play. Wash trades left and right. And the CFTC knows it, the DOJ knows it, everybody should know it. Look at this day, August 11th, 400,000 contracts, over 400,000 contracts traded in a single day, which is 2 billion. 2 billion ounces of silver traded in a single day. That's just stupid. But the entire exchange is stupid. Our financial system is stupid. It's a con. You cannot have a great society with a rigged con job as what you pretend to be free markets. At least tell people it's rigged. At least be honest about rigging markets. Tell people it's rigged so they can get the hell out. Get physical gold, physical silver, and physical cryptos. Yes, physical cryptos. In a hardware wallet or in a paper wallet. Those are physical cryptos. Out of the system so that when this bullshit ends, we don't have to worry about our assets getting swept away in the tsunami of failures. Which is coming. And a lot of people think I'm excited about it. I'm not. I'm freaking terrified. And you should be too. You know, the strange thing is all your neighbors and friends that you've been talking to this stuff to for years are going to be coming to you saying, well, they won't be coming to you. They'll be hating on you because you did well. They'll be coming to you for loans. But the real ugly thing is they're going to be going to the government saying, you need to bail us out. It was your fault. You had the regulators do this on purpose. Turn to the government for money. That's all they can do. That's all they know how to do. Yesterday it was all about Barclays making deliveries in silver. Today it is all about, it's much smaller, only 700. I say only 700. You go 700 times 5,000. What's that, 3.5 million? Is that? Yeah, 3.5 million. Is that right? Yeah. I don't know, do the math. So, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of silver to get your hands on. And again, the reason these guys, the people who are delivering now, Morgan Stanley, Barclays yesterday was the huge delivery player. Morgan Stanley, we got ABN AMRO. It's all the banks. This is all the silver they could source. They knew they had a problem in September, so they closed out contracts at massive losses, average $5 per ounce loss of the contracts that these guys shorted. They had to close out. And so, yeah, I mean, I look at it as a gigantic win. It's either they close out the short or they deliver. Now, because the COMEX changed the rules at the end of July, and you can pretty much deliver anything from a silver filling to fill a contract, it's made it a little easier to get metal. Not a lot. Clearly, it wasn't real easy for them to fulfill what they've done. I think this is all the silver that was available. So keep an eye on like SLV now. JP Morgan is the custodian of SLV. They're up under RICO charges, which means BlackRock is in complete violation of any kind of legal standing or legal, what do you call it, fiduciary duty. Because they have the number one criminal in silver controlling their silver inventory for SLV. BlackRock owns SLV, JP Diamond. JP Morgan is the custodian. And they're up on RICO charges for rigging the thing that BlackRock has put them in charge of. Talk about fiduciary, what would you call it? Fraud? At BlackRock, the biggest hedge fund in the world, that the Federal Reserve has decided it's going to buy up all the assets for the Fed. I mean, having BlackRock be in charge of the program of buying assets is like putting a mouse in charge of the cheese factory, running inspections on every slice of cheese. It's ridiculous. But that's the world we live in. All right, the other good news in gold and silver, Venezuela turns to gold mine to escape economic ruin. So is the U.S. government going to do that. And they're going to open up the Grand Canyon, not for the ripping up part of the Grand Canyon, but already the pre-mined stuff that they've had for a hell of a long time. They found in the caves, Kincaid's Cave and all that stuff. I've done a ton of research on it, and it's absolutely true. I don't think they'll be ripping apart the gold seam that they were working on in the early 1900s. They were working on a massive gold seam, just literally a filament from the sun of pure gold that was deposited, years and years of geological dirt piled up on top of it, but it was exposed because the Grand Canyon was split open. It wasn't a lazy river that made the Grand Canyon. It was an electrical exchange, an energy exchange between the sun, the earth, and Mars. And those of you on the road to Ruta, I am so far deep down that path now. Jenny Moonstone is steering me in every correct direction. Brand new stuff just this week, like earth-shattering. I'm blown away, and I've got a hell of a lot of work to do just because of what she said and then what happened to me this weekend. And on the private road, I'll go down that path with you guys. But yeah, Venezuela has to turn to gold. The U.S. will have to turn to gold too, because all we do is rig markets, and that doesn't work anymore. You can show the world that the stock market, even though the world has shut down, all these businesses destroyed, everybody's lives destroyed, the stock market is going to all-time highs. Why? Because the Fed's doing the exact same thing they've always done. You print money, you buy stocks, and you don't tell anybody that you're buying stocks. Because it's a confidence game. Have confidence in the US dollar. Ridiculous. All right, quick jump to Theta. Theta's doing great. Yesterday I talked about the new announcement that they have, that they're going to be mobilizing 32 million of the Theta-owned, the Theta Labs. They're taking away a validator node. 32 million Theta is in that validator node. I believe it is absolutely to get new validators in there. For example, Sony. Sony is already a partner with Theta, but they don't have a validator node. I think Sony is a great potential new validator, which would be great. And I mean, they can't go into the market and buy 32 million worth of Theta, 32 million tokens. It's just not there. It's not that liquid of a market. The other place that they'll go is Coinbase, obviously. Coinbase has already announced that they're looking at Theta, but it's going to have liquidity within Coinbase. So I think Coinbase went to Theta Labs and says, hey, we can't get the amount of Theta tokens we would need to start offering Theta. Can we get a chunk from you? Theta said, absolutely, no problem. I mean, I obviously sold it to them, but yeah. And they're going to be running all kinds of advertising and things like that. Lots going on in Theta. Theta is literally the internet of the future. I was screaming about it to get in, at $5 is the low. I got in at 10, 11 bucks. And buying all the way down to $4, it went down to $4, which was ridiculous, and now it's at 50. It is going to $5, it is going to $50, it is going to $500, and maybe even $5,000. Obviously, that would be a stretch. But who knows what the dollar will be worth, so yes. I do think ultimately it will go to infinity because everything's going to go to infinity in dollar terms. But I'm not talking long term. I'm talking between now and the end of the year, Theta's probably going to jump well over $1, well over $5 this year, which is a huge jump. That's a 10x jump from here between now and the end of the year. That's how big this is. Now I'm working on a program for private road members at the Road to Ruta to explain everything to do to get a Theta node, to store it, to deal with the G pool. Those of you using the G pool, one thing I want to tell you, and I get this every time on G pool. After you hit join the Guardian, after you set up an account, you'll get into this dashboard. The dashboard is not exactly done that well for a reason. If you hit delegate, that's what you want to use if you have over 10,000 Theta. And then you basically can use the Guardian node holder summary. All you have to do is on your either your mobile Theta wallet, or your desktop Theta wallet, or your Trezor, you get to where you can't get into your wallet and hit stake, and it'll ask for this, the Guardian node holder summary. This is on Cheaple. Now this is free to use. They're doing all the work running the node. And you can use it. But here's the key. When you delegate it to this node, it's not going to show up on the Gpool dashboard. It's just not going to show up. They don't have that function in the Gpool. They do have it for the stake. This is if you got less than 10,000. I'm not a fan of this because you have to actually send your coins. With the delegate, you don't send your coins anywhere when you stake Theta. All you're doing is locking them up for a certain amount of time. Okay? So it will show up as 0 if you use the delegate. And that's fine because you can look on your wallet, on your phone, or on your desktop and look under staked, and it'll show how much coins you've staked. And then the T-fuel that you earn will be credited right to your wallet, directly to your wallet. On the staking, on the small stuff, I don't advocate it because there's some third-party risk. I think they do it well, but there's always third-party risk if you take your coins out of your current wallet, and it takes longer to get them back. All right? But I am going to go through all this stuff on the private road at Road to Ruta this week. I'll have a posting on that and how to get a significant amount of Theta, get your wallet up and going, get everything fired up so you can just sit back, have your Theta working for you, and we can get literally millions of tokens from Road to Ruta members on the staking protocol for Theta, because it is the more I research it, the more I see their moves, what they're doing, it's going to blow the socks off any other cryptocurrency by far. Total market cap, it will be well above Bitcoin, I believe, in due time. There you go. As far as the rest of the world's freaking falling apart. Hey, Democrats, this is what you get. I hate to say you deserve it, but when you say defund the police, kill the police, all that shit, and you don't stand up against it, goodbye. Goodbye, Seattle. Goodbye, Portland. Goodbye, New York. Goodbye, Chicago. Goodbye, San Francisco. This from Zero Head. Shoot on sight. Chicago gangs form a pact to execute cops who withdraw weapons. Whose fault is this? The Democrats that run that state, that city. 100%. And it's going to happen in every city. It's going to be successful because these Democrats are not going to do anything about it. Trump was 100% right. But they do something about it if they go after the mayor's neighborhood. Portland police declare riot, use smoke grenades, pepper balls as violence flares up. Why? Listen to this. Police in Portland declared a riot Monday night as protesters flared up outside Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler's residence at a condominium complex. So if it's outside Ted Wheeler's house, oh my God, we have to pull out the police. We have to declare a riot. Help me, help me. I'm a politician. But it's okay to destroy other people's businesses, other people's ways. What about people who live in downtown Portland? And people like this do nothing about it. And then he blames Trump. Are you freaking kidding me? It's insane. The world's getting insane. And not to mention insane. I live in California. Yes, I'm done. California to set up task force to examine slavery reparations. Really? Who's a slave? In today's day and age. Well, my ancestor's ancestor was a slave. Okay. I'll give you your ancestor or my ancestor's ancestors will be paying your ancestor. I don't care. This whole white privilege thing is a crack of just the most ridiculous, racist thing I've ever heard. Yes, white privilege is judging people by their race. I hate to tell you, it is completely racist. So California is going to pay or setting up a thing to, why don't you just give them your job, white people? Hey, California Democrats, why don't you give black people your job? You got a rich white mayor. It's time to stand down. You got there because of white privilege, Gavin Newsom. Time to stand down and give it to a black person. It doesn't matter. It's because your ancestors held slaves hundreds of years ago, so you should stand down. You're white. See how stupid this is? And who are they going to pay? And how far back do you go to determine your blackness? If you're a 10th black, and there's black all over the place, not just from Africa. And what about brown? What about, it's insane. And how do you allocate who gets what? And oh, by the way, California, I hate to tell you, but during the times of slavery, California was a free state. We didn't have slaves in California back then. Some people might have brought them, but they were free in California at the time they're talking about. It's all political. It's all stupid. It's all ridiculous. And it's going to destroy these states beyond belief. It's going to destroy our country. I get it. It probably will. But hey, what I don't want is what comes next. The jackboot of the army comes down and says, okay, you have no freedoms. You can't do shit. Because they didn't police these guys, watch. Every state's going to turn into a socialist, fascist, ridiculous city controlled by Democrats. And voila, you have the destruction of the entire economic system is already destroyed. That doesn't mean the stock market won't go up to 1 million, because all that's just a click of a mouse. That's how easy that is. So, just a little rant because I saw this. Are you kidding me? Are you really freaking kidding me? Why don't we go back before that? Are all the Jews going to be paid reparations as well? Everybody's been a slave. Everybody's ancestor had been a slave at some point in time. How far back do you go? It's just stupid. Anyway. You want to join the Road Tutor? Go to roadtutor.com, hit subscribe today, and you'll get access to all this great stuff, including the Cliff High interview, the latest interview of the Year Zero updates, Road to the Future, the Jenny Moonstone readings, got a new one coming out. And this is really cool. My notes on Oz the Great and Powerful about Warren Buffett and how he's going to use the gold and silver the secret gold and silver of the United States of America. We have massive amounts of gold, not massive amounts of silver, massive amounts of gold and gold treasures that have been hidden from us for a hell of a long time. Anyway, I talk about this on the private road. Go to roadtoroot.com, hit subscribe today, and yes, I will be giving you 50 Theta and 50 Theta fuel. If Michelle White Dove is correct, these are going over $1,000 into the thousands. I'm giving away $50,000. Gotta love that. Go to roadtoroot.com, hit subscribe today. Bix Weir, I'll talk to you later.